The box was by the front door, taped crookedly, my name scrawled in permanent marker across the top. For a split second, I thought maybe it was a birthday gift, some kind of surprise from my parents. Maybe a care package for college, or at least a sign they hadn't forgotten. But then I saw the hoodie sticking out, my cracked phone charger, the sneakers I left by the laundry room. And I knew. Behind me, the floor creaked. I turned to see my dad standing there, arms crossed over his chest, steel-toed boots already laced.
"You're grown now," he said. "Time to go."
Go where?
He shrugged. "Doesn't matter, you're 18. You said you wanted to be an adult. This is it."
I've been paying rent, I said, heat rising in my throat. I just paid 2 days ago. He didn't answer. I looked past him toward the kitchen table. My mom sat with her coffee, eyes on her phone. She didn't look up, didn't speak. She just sipped, like this was any other morning. You said I could stay while I saved, I said, this time to her. Still nothing. My dad jerked his head toward the box.
"Clock's ticking. Got work in an hour."
And that was it. No happy birthday, no cake, no hug or pat on the back. Just a cardboard box and the sound of the front door closing behind me. I crashed at my friend Jesse's place for a week. His parents weren't thrilled, but they didn't say no outright. I slept on the couch, kept my shoes off, tried not to be seen. Eventually, the looks his mom gave me during dinner turned into sighs, then hints. Then Jesse sat me down, said, "I'm sorry, bro," and that was that. After that, I started sleeping in my car. I'd park outside the 24-hour grocery store or behind the diner where I worked closing shifts. Rolled up clothes for a pillow. My phone tucked in the glove compartment, more dead than alive most nights. Some nights, I parked down the street from my old house, just far enough not to be noticed. The porch light was always on. I used to think it meant something. Eventually, I found a room above a bakery. It was the size of a closet and smelled like yeast and sugar, but it had a door that locked. That felt like luxury. I worked nonstop, diner during the day, office cleaning at night, still wasn't enough. Skipped meals, sold my Xbox, never asked for help. There was no one left to ask. One night, while wiping down desks at the accounting office, I found a sketchbook in the trash. Inside, hand-drawn bridges, park layouts, sketches of buildings with glass and light spilling from every edge. A post-it on the front said, "Old ideas, toss." I didn't toss it. I took it home, sat on my mattress with it on my lap like it was sacred. Something in me cracked open. I used to draw buildings in the margins of my school notebooks. I used to dream of designing cities, of being the person who shaped the world with steel and glass and imagination. That night, I decided I was going to school. Somehow, it wasn't easy. Took a full year of saving and scraping to start community college. I applied for every grant and scholarship I could find. Worked until my bones ached, slept through alarms, failed a math class, tried again. By the time I turned 21, I transferred to a state university. Got a dorm, a desk, a roommate who played guitar and cooked like he had a Food Network deal. I started building again, tiny cardboard models on our floor, late-night design marathons, projects that made my hands shake and my heart race. And one day, I got an internship at a real architecture firm. I'm 24 now, just signed the lease on my own place. No roommates, no boxes by the door. Just a studio apartment with sunlight on the walls and a clean kitchen I can actually cook in. I still have that old hoodie, the one that was sticking out of the box on the day they kicked me out. It's torn and faded, smells like the past, but I keep it anyway. A reminder. People ask if I talk to my parents. I don't. Not really. My mom came into the diner once, maybe a year after they kicked me out. Didn't recognize me until I handed her the bill. She blinked, smiled like we were old classmates or something.
"Oh," she said, "didn't know you worked here."
"Have a good night," I said, and walked away. She tipped $5 on a $48 meal. I don't hate them, not anymore. I don't need to. They gave me the push, kicked me into the deep end, and watched to see if I'd swim. And I built something. Not just a career, not just a future, something solid, a foundation no one can knock down. That cardboard box was the first brick, and I've been building ever since.
I woke up in a dungeon with no party and no way out. The stone beneath me was cold, wet, and unforgiving. A chain rattled as I sat up too fast, my wrist suddenly yanked back. Shallow panic flared. I was shackled, left wrist only, and my sword, shield, and armor were nowhere in sight. My fingers still remembered the shape of my longsword, still itched to draw it. But there was nothing. Just silence and the stench of mildew. And no one else. No Zara, humming softly while prepping her spells. No Gorik, snoring loud enough to scare bats out of the walls. No Sen, quietly checking traps with the methodical grace of a veteran rogue. Just me. Just silence. Something was wrong. My thoughts came back in flashes, like lightning behind my eyes. We were in the Duskmire catacombs, searching for the Eye of Valra. We'd cleared the goblin sentries, bypassed the bone bridge, made camp outside the final door. Sen picked the lock. Zara cast the wards. Gorik, he was the first one through. I remember laughing, saying he looked like a bear charging into a mousehole. Then, darkness. A crack of sound. Something like fire, but colder. And a scream. Zara's scream. I was the last one through the door. I was the first one to wake up. I yanked at the shackle until the skin around my wrist turned raw. It didn't budge. I scanned the room, small, maybe 15 feet by 10. No windows, no torches. The light came from somewhere above, a thin blue glow like filtered moonlight. The door, iron-banded, with a rusted handle, mocked me. No lock on my side. No way to pick it. Even if I could, my body was sluggish, heavy. Like I'd been drained. Think, I muttered to myself, pressing my back to the wall. My armor wasn't the only thing missing. My pack. My map. My party badge. Even my mana ring was gone, an enchanted silver band that let us communicate across distances. It had been bonded to my soul for years. How do you steal a part of someone's soul? The silence was too complete. Even dungeons had sounds, distant echoes, rats, drips of water. This place was wrong. That's when I noticed the glyph. Faint, scratched into the stone behind me, almost hidden in the shadows, a spiral with 6 branching lines. I recognized it immediately. Binding rune. Arcane grade. Dungeon class. Whoever put me here hadn't just wanted to imprison me. They wanted to suppress me. My mana was gone because they took it. Because they wanted me helpless. And that meant I was valuable. I pressed my palm to the rune. It was warm. Zara, I whispered, unsure why. The rune flickered. Briefly. A spark of light, then nothing. Hope burned in me. If this was Zara's work, if she'd scratched this in before being taken, maybe it was a message. A beacon. Something for me to finish. I began scraping at it with my shackled wrist. The metal was just sharp enough. Sparks flew. My skin tore. I didn't stop. Minutes passed. Hours, maybe. Eventually, the rune glowed. The walls shuddered. And the silence broke. A voice echoed in the darkness, low, guttural, alien. The tether awakens. The vessel resists. I pressed my back to the wall. Who's there? No answer. Just the sound of footsteps. Not boots. Claws. I held my breath as something passed the door. The light dimmed with its presence. I felt its gaze without seeing it, but it didn't enter. Why? I turned back to the rune. It was fully lit now, soft blue light illuminating the room like starlight. And beneath it, another symbol began to emerge. A secondary spell. Summon Anchor. I laughed. It was a dry, cracked sound. Zara, you genius. The spell wasn't complete. I needed a link, a relic, something of the party. But they'd taken everything. Everything but the scar. I rolled up my sleeve. A long white line ran down my forearm, a mark from when Gorik's axe slipped during sparring. Zara had tried to heal it, but I'd said no. Leave it, I told her. Reminds me to duck next time. Maybe it was enough. I pressed the scar to the rune. It flared. The chain on my wrist snapped open like it had never been locked. The door creaked. Wind rushed through, cold and sharp and full of whispers. The dungeon hated this. The entity in the hall screamed, not in rage, but fear. I stepped forward, still weak, but alive. Awake. And suddenly, I wasn't alone. Zara appeared beside me, translucent but whole. Her spectral form smiled. You found it, she said softly. Where are the others? Trapped. Like me. Echoes in the maze. But this, she gestured to the rune glowing behind me, this is a crack in the veil. We can follow it. How do I get them back? You don't, she said. We do. Her hand brushed mine, and warmth flowed into me like morning sunlight. My mana surged. My thoughts cleared. And in the distance, I heard battle cries, Gorik's voice, roaring like thunder. Sen's daggers slicing through shadows. They were alive. Scattered. But alive. I stepped out of the cell, barehanded but burning with resolve. The dungeon shifted. Hallways curved, walls pulsed, the ceiling stretched into mist. But I wasn't the same man who woke up in chains. I had memory. I had magic. I had my party. And I was coming for them.